It is not recommended to run 220 amps ground fault circuit interrupter, often referred to as GFCI, circuits using a 12/3 cable with a shared neutral conductor. The reason for this lies in how GFCI devices function. GFCI receptacles and breakers are designed to protect against electrical shock by monitoring the balance of current between the hot, or grounded, conductor and the neutral, or grounded, conductor. Under normal circumstances, the current flowing through the hot wire should be equal to the current returning through the neutral wire. A GFCI device detects any imbalance between these currents, indicating that some current is leaking to ground, potentially through a person touching a live wire. If an imbalance of 5 mA or more is detected, the GFCI device will trip, quickly cutting off the power to the circuit and preventing a dangerous electrical shock. When 220 amps GFCI circuits share a neutral conductor, the return current from both circuits will flow through the same neutral wire. This can create a situation where the GFCI devices misinterpret the combined return current, leading to nuisance tripping. Nuisance tripping occurs when the GFCI device trips even though there is no actual ground fault. This can be very inconvenient as it can interrupt power to essential equipment or appliances. There are several reasons why a shared neutral can cause nuisance tripping in GFCI circuits. Firstly, even small differences in the loads on the two circuits can cause a current imbalance that is large enough to trip the GFCI devices. Secondly, the shared neutral conductor can act as an antenna, picking up stray electrical noise from other circuits or appliances. This noise can also cause the GFCI devices to trip. Thirdly, the GFCI devices themselves may not be perfectly matched, meaning that they may have slightly different tripping thresholds. This can also lead to nuisance tripping. For example, consider 220 amps GFCI circuit sharing a neutral conductor. One circuit is powering a coffee maker that draws 8 amps, while the other circuit is powering a toaster oven that draws 10 amps. The total current flowing through the shared neutral conductor is 18 amps. However, if there is even a small amount of leakage current on one of the circuits, such as 2 mA, the GFCI device on that circuit may trip. This is because the GFCI device is only designed to detect imbalances of 5 mA or more. In addition to nuisance tripping, sharing a neutral conductor between two GFCI circuits can also create a potentially dangerous situation. If one of the GFCI devices fails to trip in the event of a ground fault, the other GFCI device may not be able to detect the fault, as the return current will be split between the two circuits. This could result in a person receiving an electrical shock. For these reasons, it is generally not recommended to share a neutral conductor between two GFCI circuits. Each GFCI circuit should have its own dedicated neutral conductor. This will help to prevent nuisance tripping and ensure that the GFCI devices are able to function properly in the event of a ground fault. Now let's elaborate on several key aspects related to GFCI circuits and shared neutrals. Firstly, understanding GFCI operation. Ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect individuals from electrical shock. They continuously monitor the current flowing in the hot and neutral conductors of a circuit. Under normal conditions, these currents should be equal. If a difference of 5 mA or more is detected, indicating current leakage to ground, the GFCI trips, interrupting the circuit within milliseconds. This rapid response prevents dangerous electrical shocks. Secondly, the issue of shared neutrals in detail. When two separate circuits share a single neutral conductor, it can create problems for GFCI devices. Each circuit should have its own dedicated neutral to ensure proper GFCI operation. Sharing a neutral can lead to inaccurate readings and nuisance tripping. Thirdly, potential causes of nuisance tripping when sharing a neutral. Several factors can contribute to nuisance tripping. These include minor imbalances in the loads on each circuit, electrical noise present on the shared neutral, and slight variations in the sensitivity of the GFCI devices themselves. These factors can combine to create a situation where the GFCI trips unnecessarily, even when no ground fault exists. Fourthly, the code considerations and NEC guidelines. The electrical codes, and specifically the National Electrical Code, or NEC, address the issue of shared neutrals. While multi-wire branch circuits are permitted under certain conditions, they are not generally recommended for GFCI protected circuits. Local codes may have more stringent requirements, so it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician and adhere to the applicable codes. Fifthly, alternative wiring configurations and best practices. Instead of sharing in neutral, run separate 12/2 cables for each 20 amps GFCI circuit. This ensures that each circuit has its own dedicated hot and neutral conductor, preventing interference and ensuring proper GFCI operation. Another alternative is to use a 12/4 cable with 2 hots, a neutral, and a ground. However, both circuits must still be protected by a 2-pole GFCI breaker. Sixthly, troubleshooting shared neutral GFCI issues. If you're experiencing nuisance tripping in GFCI circuits that share a neutral, the first step is to separate the neutrals. Run dedicated neutrals for each circuit. If this isn't possible, try replacing the GFCI devices with higher quality units known for their stability and noise immunity. Ensure that all wiring connections are tight and secure. Seventhly, the dangers of improper wiring and safety implications. Improper wiring of GFCI circuits can compromise their safety function. If a GFCI device is unable to accurately detect ground faults due to a shared neutral, it may not trip when a dangerous condition exists. This can increase the risk of electrical shock. Eighthly, importance of consulting a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, especially when dealing with GFCI circuits and shared neutrals. It's always best to consult with a qualified and licensed electrician who can assess your specific situation, provide expert advice, and ensure that the wiring is safe and code compliant. Ninthly, multi-wire branch circuits explained. A multi-wire branch circuit is a circuit that has 2 or more ungrounded conductors that have a voltage between them, and a grounded conductor that has equal voltage between it and each ungrounded conductor of the circuit and that is connected to the neutral or grounded conductor of the system. Multi-wire branch circuits can save on wiring and conduit, but are not compatible with GFCI protection when sharing a neutral. Tenthly, GFCI breaker versus GFCI receptacle. You can use a GFCI breaker in the panel, a GFCI receptacle as the first outlet in the circuit, or a combination of both. However, sharing a neutral between 2 circuits that are GFCI protected is not recommended, regardless of whether you are using GFCI breakers or receptacles. 11thly, understanding current imbalance. GFCIs work by detecting a current imbalance between the hot and neutral wires. Normally, the current flowing through the hot wire should be exactly the same as the current flowing back through the neutral wire. If some current is leaking to ground, for example, through a faulty appliance or a person touching a live wire, the current in the neutral wire will be less than the current in the hot wire. This difference in current is called a ground fault. 12thly, the sensitivity of GFCI devices. GFCI devices are very sensitive and are designed to trip at a very low current imbalance, typically around 5 milliamps. This is enough to protect people from dangerous electrical shocks, but it also means that GFCIs can sometimes trip due to small, harmless current imbalances. 13thly, why shared neutrals cause problems with GFCIs. When 2 circuits share a neutral wire, the neutral wire carries the combined current from both circuits. This can make it difficult for the GFCI to detect a ground fault on either circuit, as the current imbalance caused by the ground fault may be masked by the current from the other circuit. 14thly, the NEC requirements for GFCIs. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifies where GFCI protection is required. This includes bathrooms, kitchens, outdoors, and other locations where there is a high risk of electric shock. The NEC also has requirements for the wiring of GFCI circuits, including the requirement that each circuit have its own dedicated neutral wire. 15thly, the importance of proper grounding. Proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. A properly grounded electrical system provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip circuit breakers and prevent electrical shocks. When GFCI circuits share a neutral, it can compromise the grounding system and make it less effective. 16thly, troubleshooting GFCI tripping problems. If you are having problems with GFCI circuits tripping, there are a few things you can try to troubleshoot the problem. Firstly, make sure that the GFCI device is properly installed and wired. Secondly, check for any loose connections or damaged wiring. Thirdly, try replacing the GFCI device with a new one. 17thly, the risks of working with electricity. Working with electricity can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on it. 18thly, the benefit of GFCI protection. GFCI protection can save lives. GFCI devices are designed to protect people from dangerous electrical shocks. They are required in many locations, including bathrooms, kitchens, outdoors, and other locations where there is a high risk of electric shock. 19thly, the different types of GFCI devices. There are two main types of GFCI devices: GFCI receptacles and GFCI circuit breakers. GFCI receptacles are installed in place of standard electrical outlets. GFCI circuit breakers are installed in the electrical panel. 20thly, the cost of GFCI protection. The cost of GFCI protection is relatively low. GFCI receptacles typically cost around $15, while GFCI circuit breakers typically cost around $30. The cost of GFCI protection is well worth the peace of mind that it provides. In conclusion, sharing a neutral conductor between two GFCI circuits is not recommended due to the potential for nuisance tripping and compromised safety. Each GFCI circuit should have its own dedicated neutral conductor to ensure proper operation and prevent electrical shocks. Always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work to ensure safety and compliance with local codes.